Hello and welcome to this week's videocast or podcast if you're listening to it via radio. This week we'll be talking about buy as is. That is, buy as is. You see, back in my college days, I heard a story of a man, who went to buy cattle. He was one of the best cattle buyers, and so there was a young teenager who wanted to go along with him, so he could learn as an apprentice how to buy cattle. And so they went to the cattle rancher, and this man is, he goes to the cow, and he holds the face and he looks so closely at it. Then he shakes his head and he goes on, and then he finds another one and he holds the face and he looks at it and he shakes his head and he goes on, and at the end of the day he just ends up buying just a handful of them. And so the young teenager asks the question. He says, "Sir, I would like to know something. I'd love to have a word with you." And so the rancher said, "Go on, say on, what you gotta say." So the little teenager said, "Sir, look at that cattle. It's fat, it's plump, it's big, it's the best breed. It's gonna have children that would be big. Why wouldn't you buy that? Why did you say no to it?" And so the cattle rancher said, "Young man, you have a lot to learn. You see that cattle, as big as it is, as plump as it is, with that wild stare in its eyes, it's not going to be a mom to its children. With that wild stare in its eyes, if you just give it a little inch, it's going to run away, it's going to fly away." He says, "If you ever see that wild stare in their eyes, don't you ever buy them, boy. Don't you ever do." So the teenager thought about it for a minute, and he said, "Sir, that tells me something about women too. If you see that wild stare in their eyes, you better don't buy, boy. Better don't get married. Don't look at the beauty or the wealth or any of that stuff. If there's that, if she wouldn't be a great mom and all. That is a big deal." And the same goes to men too. If you're going to make a decision as big as getting married, there are other things to look at, not just the outward. But what this story really talks about is the need to buy the cattle as it is right now, as is. Don't buy it for what you think his children is going to be, or just buy it the way it is. If it gets better, you're going to take it. But if it remains the way it is, that is fine. As a college student, I went to an auction to go buy cars. And I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and so I wanted to buy the cheapest cars. And so there were these really cheap cars, and they were not working. But I looked at them and they had huge potential. And I thought to myself, I'm just going to buy them even though they are not working. I'm going to fix them up and and I'm going to use them. Well, they were so cheap, I ended up buying two of them. As you can imagine, they never worked. I spent a lot of money on them trying to fix them. They still didn't work. Eventually I had to pay so somebody could come tow it away. It was just a huge waste. But I learned again to not purchase that for its potential, but purchase it the way it is right now. If it gets better, that's great. But if it remains the way it is right now, I'm okay with it. Thank you so much, viewers. I appreciate your watching, and we hope to see you again next week. Have a good day. Bye-bye.